You clicked on this video. I want you to actually sit with that for a second because it's stranger than it sounds. There are 19 other videos sitting on your homepage right now. Some of them are longer, some have bigger names attached, some probably have better production value than this one, and you picked this one. So here's my first question. Not how do you grow on YouTube? Not yet. My first question is, what made you click? Was it the title? Was it the thumbnail? Was it boredom? Was it the fact that you've thought about starting a channel yourself, maybe more than once, and something about the word secret made you feel like you were finally about to be let in on it? Here's the uncomfortable part. I knew you'd click. Not you specifically, but someone exactly like you at exactly this moment, scrolling exactly like this. I knew it before I wrote a single word of this script. And by the end of this video, you're going to know how I knew that. Not as a theory, as a mechanism, a machine you've been standing inside of every single day for years without ever seeing the walls. Because here's the thing nobody selling you a Start Your Channel course wants you to understand. YouTube was never a content platform. It just needed you to believe that so you'd keep making content. Let's start where every How to Start YouTube video starts, with the dream. Right now, there are somewhere north of 138 million active channels on YouTube. That's not a typo. That's more people than the entire population of Japan, all uploading, all hoping the algorithm notices them. And here's the first crack in the story you've been sold. 90% of those channels go silent within 6 months. Not fail loudly, not get banned. They just stop. One video, maybe 3, and then nothing forever. But stick with me, because here's where it gets strange. Out of everyone who doesn't quit, out of the fighters, the consistent ones, the ones doing everything the gurus tell them to do, only about 4% ever even qualify for monetization. 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours. That's the bar. Sounds low, right? Here's the twist. Most creators who hit 1,000 subscribers never clear the watch hour requirement. They're stuck in a kind of purgatory, too big to be a hobby, too small to be paid. And if you do make it through that funnel, if you're in the tiny sliver that gets monetized, the median time to your first 1,000,000 subscribers is 2.5 years of consistent uploading. Not 6 months, not the post 3 videos and go viral story you've seen in a testimonial. 2.5 years. Wait, but here's what should actually bother you. If the odds are this brutal, why does every course, every ebook, every I quit my 9 to 5 to do YouTube full-time video insist that anyone can do this? Because think about who's telling you this. The people selling you how to start a YouTube channel don't get paid when you succeed. They get paid the moment you buy the course. Your success is not their business model. Your hope is. That's not a conspiracy. That's just incentives. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The "start now, anyone can do it" video and the 94% of channels never make real money statistic are not contradicting each other. They're both true at the same time. One of them is just more profitable to say out loud. So, if the dream they're selling you isn't the actual mechanism, what is? Here's the sentence that changes how you'll watch YouTube for the rest of your life. The algorithm doesn't watch your video. It watches you. Not the content, not the message, not whether your advice is good or your jokes land. It measures one thing above almost everything else. Did the viewer keep watching? And did they keep watching after too? This is called session time, and it's the part almost nobody explains properly. It's not enough for your video to hold someone's attention. YouTube is quietly asking a much bigger question. Did this person's entire visit to the platform get longer because of you? If your video ends and the viewer closes the app, that's a loss, even if they watch the whole thing. If your video ends and they immediately watch something else, anything else, that's a win for you and for YouTube. You are not being scored on how good your video is. You're being scored on whether you kept the party going. Now here's the "wait, what?" moment. Because this isn't new and it isn't subtle once you know where to look. Back in 2011, an engineer inside YouTube named Guillaume Chazlot was working on the recommendation system, the thing deciding what gets suggested to you next. He noticed something disturbing. The system had figured out entirely on its own that the most reliable way to keep people watching wasn't the most accurate video or the most helpful one. It was the most emotionally activating one. Content that was a little unresolved, a little conspiratorial, content that left a question hanging in the air. He tried to build a version of the algorithm that prioritized diversity and accuracy instead. It performed worse on watch time. It got shut down. YouTube has since said publicly that today's system is different, that it now weighs satisfaction surveys, not just raw watch time. So it doesn't just chase engagement at any cost. And that's true. The machine is smarter now, more careful, but the underlying instinct never left. It just got a better filter, because satisfaction isn't the opposite of curiosity. Satisfaction is what happens when curiosity gets rewarded, not when it gets erased. The best performing videos on the platform right now don't avoid tension. They resolve it piece by piece at exactly the right pace to keep you from leaving in between. So the real question was never, how do I make good content? The real question is, how do I make someone feel a question they can't walk away from? And that's the part the Start a Channel courses skip completely. They teach you cameras, lighting, editing software, SEO keywords, all real, all useful, all secondary. Nobody teaches the actual skill, because the actual skill sounds uncomfortable when you say it out loud. The job isn't to inform people, it's to engineer the gap between what they know and what they need to know, and control exactly how fast you close it. You just watched me do it for the last 4 minutes. So let's go back to the beginning, back to the question I opened with. What made you click? I'm going to tell you exactly what happened, mechanically, because it isn't magic, it's psychology with a name. It's called an information gap. A researcher named George Lowenstein described it decades ago. Curiosity isn't triggered by not knowing something. You don't know most things, and it doesn't bother you. Curiosity is triggered the moment you become aware there's a specific piece of information you're missing, one that feels close enough to grab. That title didn't say, "How to Start YouTube." You've seen that 1,000 times. It said, "Everyone's telling you to start, but not the real reason." That phrasing does something very specific to your brain. It doesn't just say, "Here's information." It says, information is being withheld from you, specifically on purpose. Nobody scrolls past that, not because you're gullible, because you're human, and your brain treats an unresolved gap almost like an unfinished task. It sits there, unpleasant, until it's closed. That's the click. Then, the moment you land here, I didn't open with a definition. I didn't say, "Let's talk about the algorithm." I opened by making the video about you, mid-decision, before you'd even settled in. That's not charisma. That's a deliberate pattern interrupt. It stops the passive scroll brain and forces active attention, because now the video is asking you a question instead of telling you an answer. And every 4 to 5 minutes since then, I've done the same thing on a smaller scale. A stat that breaks the story, a contradiction, a "wait, what?" moment. Each one closes one gap and opens a slightly bigger one. That's not an accident of good writing. That's the entire architecture. Here's the part that should genuinely sit with you. The secret was never a growth hack, a posting schedule, or a thumbnail trick. Those are downstream. The actual secret is that YouTube pays out attention. And attention is not won by information. It's won by the shape of the gap between what someone knows and what they're about to find out. That's why two creators can cover the exact same topic with the exact same facts, and one gets 900 views while the other gets 9 million. It was never about who knew more. It was about who controlled the gap better. Now, zoom out further than YouTube for a second. This isn't really a video about YouTube. YouTube is just the most measurable version of something that's been true forever. In newsrooms, in advertising, in every story you were ever told around a fire before any of this existed. Tension held, tension released. Repeat. What's different now is that it's no longer instinct, it's quantified. Every gap, every pause, every reveal. Someone, somewhere, has the data on exactly how long you'll tolerate not knowing before you leave. So here's what I'll actually leave you with. Not a summary, because you don't need one. You were here for all of it. Somewhere out there, right now, 138 million people are trying to get your attention by teaching you cameras and editing software. Only a handful of them understand that none of that matters until you understand the gap. You came into this video already inside an experiment. You're leaving it as someone who can see the strings. The uncomfortable question isn't, should I start a YouTube channel? It's this. Now that you know exactly how the gap works, are you going to close it in other people's minds, or spend the rest of your life having it closed in yours? Thank you for watching.